Then the Bodhisattva, the great being Vajrayasena, said to the Blessed One, why is it that these sentient beings do not speak to the Blessed One, do not speak at all, and remain without speaking? The Blessed One said, Vajrayasena, do you not understand? The land is mindless, and it does not speak. It does not speak at all, and it does not understand the heap of dharma either. If you should wonder why that is so, Vajrayasena, some young sentient beings here do not understand birth, although they have seen it. Cessation, aging, sickness, sorrow, weeping, separation from loved ones, coming into contact with what is unpleasant, parting with friends, dying, untimely death. They do not understand any of these unbearable sufferings. Even though they have seen them, they are not moved and revolted by them. So how could they possibly understand the Vajrayasena? They must be taught again and again. At that, the Bodhisattva, the great being Vajrayasena, said this to the Blessed One. Blessed One, from where have these young sentient beings who do not know the Dharma come? From where did they migrate at death? And where will they be born? The Blessed One said, Vajrayasena, listen. These human bodies that they have received were not made by a jeweler. They were not made by a coppersmith. They were not made by a carpenter. They were not made by a potter. They were not made out of fear of a king. Rather, they arise from the union of a man and a woman, and from the possession of bad karma. Those sentient beings too are taught a trade again and again, in that they experience the ripening of wicked and virtuous action done previously. Vajrayasena, in this place, these sentient beings who have come here and are not rising up will feel these sort of sufferings. Vajrayasena, for this reason they do not speak. They do not speak at all, Vajrayasena. That being so, these young sentient beings do not understand virtue. They do not understand birth. They do not understand cessation. They will not attain human bodies even. And these, Vajrayasena, are what are called young sentient beings. He said, Blessed One, how are these young sentient beings born? How do they exist? The Blessed One said, Vajrayasena, it is as follows. To make an analogy, someone might bring a piece of wood into contact with fire, just as that wood would generally catch on fire. In the same way, Vajrayasena, one is initially born into a human body. After birth, one then experiences cessations. He said, Blessed One, who is actually born here after birth, who completely passes beyond? The Blessed One said, Vajrayasena, the Buddha himself is born. The Tathagata himself completely passes beyond. It is as follows, to make an analogy. The king puts some man in bondage and imprisons him in a dark and gloomy building. After the man enters the gloomy building, once inside that gloomy building, he sees that it is a gloomy building. Then another man, who has previously been affected by some experience of suffering, sees this and thinks this man is ill-suited for this, because he had not experienced suffering previously. It will kill him. Reflecting on this, he took fire and went there and left a slight bit of fire behind in that house. The man who had been put in that jail saw the fire, and when he saw it, he was consoled and cheered up. But that fire, for some reason, flared up, and this blazing fire completely burned up that house. And the man was also burned up right there. Then when the king heard that he had been burned, he was displeased. He thought, From now on, no sentient being will be put in prison in my land.